Okay guys, so today I'm going to show you how to sew your own reusable, reversible, handmade, one-of-a-kind bag. If you're not working with a pattern and you're trying to create something out of your own imagination, then you need to be able to reverse engineer it so that you know how you can put it back together. So, with this bag, basically we're looking at a 3D square sort of shape with some handles. We know there's going to be at least 2 long rectangles that we're going to sew into handles. Then we got to think about that cube shape. If you think about it, we've got 2 big fat pieces that we're working with for the front face and the back face. And then we've got these 2 and we know we have a bottom. We know there's going to be 2 sides and we know there's going to be a bottom. So really what we're working with is the size of our bag and then half of each of the sides. So we'll want 2 of these and 2 long pieces for however long you want your bag to be. For my bag, I've decided I'm going to do a happy farm animal fabric for the outside and a brown micro suede for the inside. As you can see, I've folded my fabric in half and I've ironed it along that bottom. First things first, we have to cut our fabric. Before you cut your fabric, it's important to decide on how big you want your bag to be. What I usually do, and I think this is a really good trick for most people, is get an object about the size that you want your bag to be and then use that as your guide. I've decided this book is right around the size that I want my bag to be. You're lining it up with a fold of your fabric. I'm going to start cutting. So now we have a really rough idea of the size of our bag. What I like to do at this point is fold it up just to make sure my lines are straight. If this wasn't attached at the bottom, you would be taking out a perfect square from the corners, but since you have this bottom piece attached, you won't have to sew a seam along there, so you have to adjust for that on the sides. Since your seam is already completed for you at the bottom, since we cut it on that fold, where we would usually cut a square, something like that, we don't have to adjust for that seam. So on this side, you'll be using about 5/8 of an inch to sew along this seam, but on this side you won't. So basically, where we would have about a perfect square, we're not going to need the 5/8 of an inch from the bottom. So you can cut more of a rectangle like this. That way, once you've sewn the side, you're left with that square that we actually wanted. Our bag is actually finished. These seams here will be sewn together like that, making it 3D. Okay, so I cut out my bag shape in both the fabric I want on the outside and the fabric I want on the inside. I've decided I'm going to use the fabric that's on the inside of the bag as the strap fabric. You'll need 1 long piece of fabric. It's really easy for the straps actually. You just decide how long you want the straps to be on your bag and cut the fabric to that length, maybe plus a couple of inches. So if you want your straps to be, for example, about that wide, about that long, then you just cut them with an extra 2 inches on the end, so a total of 4 inches longer than you actually need for your straps. Okay, so I've cut out my straps. What you want when you're cutting your straps is to make them 2.5 times as thick as you actually want the strap to be, because what we're going to end up doing is folding that strap in half and sewing it together here. So you'll lose half the thickness and then another little chunk by sewing a seam in. So really, even though my strap is about 4 inches wide here, it's gonna end up being a little over 1.5 inches thick. See? Just like that. I also cut out a large rectangle of fabric for the pocket. What we have now is all of the pieces we need for the bag. So we have the outside fabric, the inside fabric, the fabric for the pocket that will go on the outside of the bag, our 2 straps. So let's start sewing.